Joining me is George Caccavaro, who's running for the New Hampshire House of Representatives in Sullivan District 4. So George, I think about next year, the first thing that comes to mind is the budget. It's the first year of a biennium, and it looks to me like New Hampshire's sort of going in with a bit of a budget hole to fill.
Yeah, about 120 million, I think, is what we said earlier.
Yeah, it's a range of numbers that, but yeah. So, what do what's your approach to looking at our budget?
Actually, it works in the communities. It could work at the state. You should start each budget year with a blank sheet of paper. Zero-based budgeting is really the way to go, and it gives you the best opportunity to see where the money's really going. It's simple to say I had 150 million in there last year, so inflation's 1%, jump at 1. No, you have to start with zero, build back up again. And if you're underfunded, then you have to find a way to either cut cost or take it out of another area. But I think the carte blanche, we need 200 million, so give me 200 million, it won't fly, and it's what causes problems. It's harder to start with zero and work back out, but it's the cleanest and it's the best way to do it. I've seen it work in school districts, and it's no reason it won't work at the state level. Now, what the legislature thinks is zero might be another whole issue. I think there's quite a few people who believe there's a core number and we'll start from there. No, you start from zero, and it's a lot of work, but it's well worth it at the end.
So each department would justify from scratch
everything,
every dollar they're
going to spend or propose to spend, right? And the different committees would have to really do more than rubber stamp it. It's work. It's I think one of the things I learned to do over the last 11 or 12 years is work with a real true budget committee. That was an SB2 town. Mm-hmm. So you justified it to the school board, then you justified it to the budget committee. And, if you can do that, if you can justify it, then the elected officials have all the right in the world to say, fine, go ahead and spend it. But if you've got to defend it to the degree where you're being questioned, then maybe you better back up, take another look at it,
So that's sort of one issue, and I think I have a sense of your approach to it. Let's turn to another issue I think we'll see is casino gambling.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely up there because, as I said earlier, the state needs to either live within its means or find a way to get more revenue in. And casino gambling is being pushed as one of the ways to get more revenue in. I'm not pro at this point. I just look at Atlantic City. They're gone. They're just about out of gambling now altogether. Now, Massachusetts just approved, I believe it's at least 1 or 2, but that's Massachusetts, not New Hampshire. Hopefully we're not going to follow their lead in too much. I came out of there, so I feel like I have a right to criticize them. But no, I don't see gambling as a viable source. I think it carries a lot of baggage with it. I think the potential for in the areas in which the casino might be built, I think the potential for increase in crime is there. I'm not talking theory. I really believe you can prove that. So no, I wouldn't be in favor of that. I'll say that now. I've had constituents tell me that, and this may be worth talking about, that maybe we should just legalize marijuana and tax the heck out of that, as they did in Colorado. I'm not ready to jump on that either, but there are people out there who are looking at alternative ways to bring money in. All of them, I think, have to be considered, but you also have to consider the backside of it, the negative. Don't just be blinded by the potential revenue.
So you mentioned a couple of sources of revenue, the taxation of marijuana, the casino, and neither you're 100% sold on from what I'm hearing.
Right, at this point.
Yeah. Are there other things, revenue sources, that you think we ought to consider as a state?
Well, I think, and this could be an issue, I think any elected official or anyone running for office who takes any potential revenue source off the table is short-sighted. So when you say, we're going to pledge there'll never be a broad-based tax, George Bush Sr. said, read my lips, and it cost him, So, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying I'm not against a possible broad-based tax. I think the fairest way would be a sales tax. But I think you have to leave that out there. You can't discount it.
So you're saying everything, no matter how unpalatable, needs to be on the table to be examined?
Of course, yeah.
And I heard you with the expense side. Everything needs to be on the table to be examined.
That's the way to do it. It's, you know, and that's why I said I get upset when people say, well, I'm going to sign the pledge. Well, how can you do that? How can you justify taking a potential revenue source off the table with the problems we have?
So we got about 20 seconds left. One quick issue, the death penalty may come before us. Where do you stand on that?
I'm clearly for it. I mean, this will give me problems within among my 4 kids, but no, I think it's a deterrent. I think if you take someone's life, then the only way to pay that back is that we take your life. It's that simple.
And I have to close on something, and it had to be that.